This is the most intense wilderness survival challenge. A pair of strangers, a man and a woman, stand face to face, completely naked. No clothes on their bodies. No food. No water. They must work together to survive in the wilderness. If they can endure for 21 days, they'll win $1 million prize. The female contestant in this episode is Kelly. She's 25 years old, from Colorado, a former Marine, and a part-time model. She has a deep love for adventure. Most of her survival skills come from her Marine Corps experience. The male contestant is Tom. He's 40 years old, from Arizona, a former Army veteran, a devoted family man. Through this challenge, he hopes to inspire and empower his children. This episode's survival location is the western bank of the Matuk River in Cambodia, a dense jungle in southern Cambodia. The climate here is extremely humid. Their first challenge: daytime temperature soaring up to 38 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, followed by sharp drops at night. The area is home to venomous snakes, poisonous spiders, and massive 3-meter-long Siamese crocodiles. These creatures have a bite force of up to 260 kilograms per square centimeter, one of the most powerful bites in the world. Now comes the undressing phase. Kelly shows no sign of embarrassment. She swiftly removes her clothing without hesitation, declaring, "Go all in." Tom, in response, remains calm and composed. No shyness, no awkwardness. Following the production team's guidance, the two quickly locate each other. Upon their first meeting, they exchange a polite handshake. Tom remains steady and composed throughout, showing no signs of discomfort or shyness. Kelly, despite acting nonchalant, is clearly dying of embarrassment upon meeting her teammate. Before she realizes it, her face turns bright red. She couldn't help but cover her face in embarrassment. Seeing this, Tom comforted Kelly, reassuring her not to worry. "We'll get used to it soon," he said. Each contestant is allowed to bring one essential survival tool. Tom chose a fire starter. Kelly picked a machete, a must-have in the wild. They also received a mission map from the production team. The map indicated that if Kelly and Tom wanted to find water and a suitable campsite, they would have to move inland. This meant trekking through dense jungle filled with venomous snakes. To reach a tributary in the area, with their mission clear, they set off on their first day of the challenge. Tom recorded his first video log, expressing confidence in Kelly. As they journeyed together, they took the time to get to know each other, creating a relaxed and friendly atmosphere. Tom fully utilized his talkative nature, making the conversation engaging. After some time, Kelly felt that Tom was an optimistic and cheerful person. She was thrilled to have him as her partner. As they walked, they continued chatting, and together they decided on their first priority. Both agreed that setting up a shelter should come first. The dense jungle took a toll on them, leaving them with cuts and scratches. Their feet were also pricked by thorny plants. By the afternoon, they finally found a water source and bamboo for building their camp. They divided their tasks efficiently. Kelly went to cut bamboo, while Tom gathered vines. Once they chose a campsite, they got to work building their shelter. Though they were clumsy at first, clearly inexperienced, their teamwork remained harmonious. They discussed each step as they went, working together with good communication. To avoid freezing at night, Tom focused on making fire. He kept trying until his fire starter was nearly worn down. They worked tirelessly until nightfall. By then, they had only completed the shelter's framework. The temperature dropped sharply at night. By early morning, they were so cold they couldn't stay lying down. Something amusing happened at this point. Kelly, unable to withstand the cold any longer, started inching closer to Tom, hoping they could share body heat. But Tom refused. Even though he was shivering uncontrollably, he still wouldn't move closer to Kelly. In the end, fearing that his wife might see footage of him cuddling another woman, Tom did something unexpected. He left the shelter and sat by the fire instead. Kelly was so frustrated by this that she was practically grinding her teeth in anger. But there was nothing she could do about it. The next morning, Kelly vented her frustration to the camera, complaining about how Tom refused to share body heat. She insisted it wasn't a big deal to her. But Tom's reaction made things unbearably awkward. By midday, they turned their focus to securing a source of drinking water. Tom cut bamboo into sections, filled them with water, and placed them over the fire to boil. Soon the water was purified. With drinking water finally secured, they happily toasted with a drink. As evening approached, they crouched in front of the camera, discussing how they would survive the freezing night ahead. Kelly asked, "What do we do if it gets too cold again tonight?" Tom's response was blunt, "Endure it." Over the next 3 days, they continued improving their shelter, collecting firewood to keep the fire burning. With no food, they were starting to show signs of malnutrition. By the afternoon of day 5, Kelly finally voiced her frustrations with Tom. She felt like he was obsessed, constantly collecting firewood without stopping. On day 6, Kelly couldn't take the boredom anymore. She didn't want to go home after 21 days and tell her family that she had spent the entire time doing nothing but starving and sitting on a rock. Just as Tom was about to go collect more firewood, Kelly's frustration finally exploded. She told Tom that this boring life was suffocating her. Tom felt that since they already had shelter, drinking water and a fire, they could last until the end. But Kelly believed they needed to go out and hunt. This led to a major disagreement. Tom said he no longer had the energy to go hunting. Frustrated, Kelly decided to go out on her own, hoping to find some food. She followed the river, exploring ahead. By the afternoon, Kelly discovered an open area. What she didn't realize was that this small cove was a frequent hunting ground for crocodiles. Despite the danger, Kelly managed to gather a lot of clams. Finding so much food lifted her spirits significantly. When she returned to camp, Kelly told Tom about the spot she had found. They cooked the clams, finally enjoying a decent meal. As evening approached, they had a serious conversation. Kelly pointed out that Tom had done nothing but stay at camp, chopping bamboo, boiling water, and collecting wood non-stop. She felt that he was unnecessary. She could survive just fine on her own, even if Tom left. She was confident she could last all 21 days. Tom, however, made it clear he had no intention of quitting. He would stay until the end. By the evening, after cooling off, they had another conversation. This time they reached an agreement. Neither of them wanted to leave. They both agreed that making it to the end was what truly mattered. This finally stabilized their nearly fractured partnership. On the 8th day, Kelly led Tom to the cove where she had previously found the clams. The two waded into the water, carefully searching around, hoping to find some clams. But the result was disappointing. They found nothing. That afternoon back at camp, Kelly noticed something moving in her water. While drinking from a bamboo container, she immediately dumped it out. Tom was furious when he saw this. He had worked so hard to boil that water, only for it to be wasted. Unsurprisingly, they ended up arguing again. On day 9, Tom felt that Kelly did nothing at camp, which was frustrating. If only he could swap partners, how much better would things be? He could only wish. On day 11, Kelly thought Tom shouldn't have joined this challenge at all. Yet he stubbornly refused to leave, dragging her down in the process. By day 14, Tom was gathering firewood again, but Kelly completely ignored him, making no effort to help. Tom was beyond furious. If it weren't for the cameras around, he would have loved to just let loose on Kelly. On day 15, Kelly once again vented to the camera. She was absolutely fed up with Tom, yet for some reason, she had to keep dealing with him. By the night of day 16, the wind was exceptionally strong. Kelly was freezing and couldn't sleep. She glanced at Tom sitting by the fire, but forced herself to endure the cold. On day 18, after spending 18 days in the wild, Tom and Kelly had only consumed the equivalent of about 5.5 bananas worth of calories. In just 2 days they had to reach the extraction point. Without more energy, it would be difficult to make it there. Tom and Kelly discussed their options. Tom decided to go look for clams, while Kelly stayed near the camp to collect firewood. Tom carefully searched the water, combing through every inch. In the end, he only found 7 clams. Back at camp, as he emptied his find, he discovered that one was just an empty shell. After cooking the rest, Tom savored the taste of fresh clams. Then, as they opened the remaining ones, 2 more were empty. Kelly, frustrated, muttered, "If only I could swap partners. That would be amazing." At this point, she felt as if she were alone, despite having someone by her side. Tears of frustration streamed down her face. She kept mumbling, "If only my partner were a real man." If only my partner had some survival skills, I wouldn't be starving like this. On the night of day 20, Kelly was too hungry to sleep. She turned to the camera, pleading, "Can tomorrow come faster? I really can't take this anymore." On the 21st day, they boiled a few more bamboo tubes of water to drink on their way to the extraction point. But Tom accidentally spilled the freshly boiled water, forcing them to start over. Then, as Kelly was pouring the water, she burned her hand on the bamboo tube, spilling the water again. Tom just sat there, making no effort to help. Another heated argument erupted between them. Tom claimed he had been doing all the work. Hearing this, Kelly snapped. She angrily blurted out an expletive, letting out all her frustration. After venting, Kelly stormed off, leaving Tom behind. Tom had no choice but to follow her. After a few hours of walking in silence, they finally calmed down when they met again. To find Kelly, Tom had walked 32 kilometers upstream. Now they were still 64 kilometers away from the extraction point. To get there, they had to cross a rocky terrain and pass through a jungle filled with cobras. They arrived at the clearing by the riverbank, where the helicopter was scheduled to pick them up. However, time was running out. The helicopter couldn't fly at night. If they weren't at the extraction point on time, the helicopter would return to base without them. They were already quite far from the pickup location, but to make matters worse, they took a wrong turn and ended up in the jungle, 24 kilometers south of the clearing. As darkness approached, they had no choice but to hurry along the riverbank. Although this route was shorter, it was significantly more dangerous. Crocodiles lurked in the deeper waters, posing a huge threat. Despite the enormous risk, they had no choice but to push forward. When they clearly heard the sound of a crocodile slipping into the water, both of them were terrified. Luckily, the helicopter was still searching for them. Upon spotting them, the pilot altered course and decided to land closer to their location. Had the helicopter not changed its landing point, it's hard to say whether they would have made it across safely or ended up as crocodile food. As they boarded the helicopter, both remained indifferent. Unlike past teams, they didn't celebrate their survival. After all the friction between them, they probably wouldn't even remain friends. That didn't stop them, however, from each enjoying their share of the massive prize money. Post-challenge statistics. Over the 21 days, Tom lost 22 pounds 10 kilograms. Kelly lost a total of 10 pounds 45 kilograms.